Okay everyone, hello and welcome to one of my first videos that is going to be in this series of Linux. And when I talk about, you know, different things that you can do with Linux, why you might want to use it, why you might not want to use it, who's Linux good for, and all that. One of the first things I thought I should go ahead and get out of the way at the beginning of the series is a lot of the idea of what is Linux, where did it come from, how is it useful, is it better, can it be better? As you're going to find, some of these questions have answers, and some of these questions are based on you, the user. They're not really something I can answer definitively. They're things I can give you a reason to think about, and then, you know, it's up to you to decide whether or not that's good for you or is not good for you. So to start off, I thought we would go back to the history of Linux and kind of what is Linux? Where did it start, okay? Well, if anyone is, I'm not going to go straight into what Unix is. It's not as important here. But Unix was as it says here, a multitasking, multi-user computer operating system, which really just means that it was able to use multiple programs, which at the time in the 1970s and 80s was a big deal. There were a lot of systems that were single task, meaning you only did one thing. They couldn't do multiple things. You could have multiple users, and it was an operating system. That's all I'm going to say about that. I simply want you to understand that Unix was a really powerful and kind of important, it was a very important operating system in the 1970s and 80s, and it was used by AT&T and Bell Labs. It was developed by AT&T and Bell Labs. I'm not going to go into a lot about Unix. Now, this is where we start to get important, okay? And I'm going to put all these links in the description of my video below. But GNU, and also leave comments, let me know if I was going too fast. Now, this is where Linux's roots really go back, okay? Now, the GNU project, still not Linux, but Linux was very much created from this, okay? The GNU project was actually a project meant to, help with mass collaboration and free software. It was announced in the 27th of September, 1983, by Richard Stallman. I'm sure if any of you are geeks here or are watching my video and have studied any of this before, you've heard this man's name. A very important figure to all this. But nevertheless, its aim was to give computer users the freedom to control and use their computers basically however they wanted to, and to collaborate and develop and do all kinds of interesting things. And if you notice, I'm pulling a lot of keywords from here. This is just kind of going to be my script for this episode, so yeah. Nevertheless, that is the GNU project. The GNU project was actually kind of ironic in the sense that it was based off the design of Unix. Because I want you to think, like I said, this was announced by Richard Stallman in 1983. You saw use of Unix before this, and Unix was very popular for what it was being done with it. So a lot of people knew Unix, okay? And this is kind of how it goes with a lot of systems and technology. Are you going to design a completely new system that nobody knows how to use? Or are you going to make some slight modifications and keep it to where people who've used maybe something like Unix that is popular can jump on and learn pretty quick? I would go for the latter, because that means a lot more people are going to be able to jump onto my system and use it. And the object here was not to make things complicated. It was so that everyone could use this system, could collaborate in multiple different ways. Now, going back to the ironic thing here, more ironic than the fact that it was based on Unix, it was based on Unix. However, GNU is actually a recursive acronym, meaning GNU is not Unix. GNU's not Unix. So the GNU's not Unix project, it's actually pretty. I think that's pretty funny. But nevertheless, it was originally under the GNU General Public License, and I'm not sure what licensing it's under now. If you want to, you could probably go and find that. As a matter of fact, this was a project, I doubt it's even, I don't know if it's even under a license anymore, or if you can get the original source files anymore. Now we're going to go back to what is Linux, okay? You've got the base of where Linux comes from. Now we're going to talk about what is Linux. Oh, hey, sorry guys, my screen capture software clashed on me, so I'm gonna go and continue to explain here what Linux is. We have gone past the GNU project, and really that was the roots of Linux. What it was foundationed off of, because Linux is a result of the GNU project. The problem with the GNU project was this: the GNU project, the software and things that you used out of it, really was not easy. Okay, it didn't have any shells, and let's go ahead and explain what a shell is. Okay, so I'm going to use this analogy here to kind of explain this. And before I use the analogy, I want you to understand that there are two ways to interact with the system. Okay, to use it, you have CLI, which stands for a command line interface, and a graphical user interface. So command line interface is being like, literally, as the name states, commands. You don't have graphics. Everything is entered through some kind of, keyword and, attributes and program languages. This is DOS. If anyone goes back to those days, that was, oh no, my bad. This is FreeDOS, which is a derivative of DOS. It's basically a DOS for free. A project there. It's actually awesome. I love that software. And it is handy sometimes. And then a graphical user interface is, as the name implies again, a graphical user interface. It is a interface that uses graphics for you to do things. Now, one unique thing I want you to understand about the difference between CLI, a command line interface, and a graphical user interface is really you always have this. Now, if you use Windows, you may not always be completely accessible to it, and you may not even know that it's there. You would normally access it something like this in Windows. In Linux, it's going to be a little different, but understand that it's always there. A graphical user interface, or a shell, okay, a shell is something that goes over your core system, which is a command line interface, okay, which is what GNU did not have. There were no good, to my knowledge, there were no good shells. So everything was done through command line. Nothing was really standardized. It was very difficult. And basically, what a guy named Linus, and I'm not going to try and pronounce that last name now, because you should all be able to tell, I guess, by now that I speak rather terribly sometimes. I do have a speech impediment or impairment. So I'll do my best to explain all this and continue. But Linux was actually first released in the 5th of October in 1991 by Linus. And all it done is it was based off of the GNU project, and he basically done this. He created a kernel, okay? A core system. He created a core system that kind of simplified everything. So there was a lot less actual programming and stuff you had to do. It was a ready system you could install, and it still only had a command line interface. But we saw, as a result of this, graphical user interfaces and all that stuff come out, and it was a big game changer for Linux. I think Linux is really an incredible thing. But and remember, just as it was based off the GNU project, or the GNU is not Linux project, LOLs, if you an internet person, I'm going to say weird things like that, LOLs, JK, But nevertheless, it was very Linux-like, and it's standardized a little bit. It made it easier, okay? So as a result, we started seeing, shells and things come out, okay? GNOME, KDE, LXDE, XFace. Those are some interfaces, shells that you can install on your own Linux system, and that really all why Linux is used so much now. And one thing I want you to go and understand that I think is really cool, Linux is used as of June of 2013. Linux is used on more than 95% of the world's fastest supercomputers. Okay? A lot of people don't realize that Linux is everywhere now. in this world, I'm going to break it down like this, and I'm going to sound like some weird geek out of a random movie made in Hollywood, because, you know, like, you have two choices. You're going to do this, or you're going to do this. That was my bad impression of some kind of badass Hollywood scene. But basically, that's the case. You either have Windows or you have Linux. You rarely have anything in between, because Linux is a derivative of GNU, which was based off of the Unix project, so they're all kind of a level by level better version of free and open source software based off of Unix. And basically, if you use Windows, you're using the DOS kernel, or you're using DOS as your main system, and the Windows shell is over that, or your Windows shell is over that. And if you use Linux, you could have a series of shells on it, and the kernel would be, you know, the Linux kernel, which was, again, made by this guy. And you can learn a lot about that from the Linux Foundation and all that stuff. But yeah, that's all pretty cool. So yeah, you pretty much have those two things. Your smartphones run Linux. Mac OS was based off of Unix and basically Linux. If I jump into a Mac terminal, I can go in there and I can start using it just like I can use Linux. It's a little different because Mac modified it a lot, but or Apple modified it a lot. But I mean, it's the same thing. So yeah. Now real quick, before we end this, as I said, we're going to go ahead and explain, okay, what is the difference, okay, now that we know the history of Linux and what Linux is, what is the difference between, you know, Linux Mint, Ubuntu, okay, all of these things. Basically, I'm going to use that acronym for a salad, the one that I said I was going to use at the beginning of this video and have dragged on out. Okay, let's say you go to a restaurant and you know, you eat salad and you're expecting them to have this this certain dressing, but you don't really think about it. You know, it's a common dressing. So you order your salad and they bring it to you and you ask them for this dressing, but they don't have it. You're like, well, man, you go ahead and you eat the salad, but the next time you come to this restaurant, you bring your dressing. You're like, okay, I really like those salads. I'm gonna go ahead and bring my own dressing so I can put on it, and I don't have to worry about that. So I know that sounds kind of weird, but think of it like this. Any Linux distribution or any Linux operating system, so Linux Mint, Ubuntu, we'll go ahead and pull the Ubuntu website up off of here. Ubuntu, other ones like Xubuntu, Debian, which is actually kind of what mine's based off of. These operating systems, they are just a salad. I'm going to pause there and kind of let you chuckle in your mind, or think of that however you want to. Any Linux system, any Linux operating system, is just a flavored version of the Linux kernel. So yes, the kernel that is Linux, okay, is basically any distribution is just a pre-configured, you know, set of software. So they took a shell, a specific user interface that they like. Okay, a team of people create these systems, and they say, okay, we like Cinnamon, or we like GNOME. So we're going to put GNOME on the kernel system, and then we're going to, you know, add some pre-configured software. We're going to put some software on there, so that we're going to give them VLC and BandC, which are, you know, video and music players. I use VLC to play all of my videos. It's great little software if you want pretty much a universal video player that's going to read every format. VLC's it. BandC's an audio software. I like it a lot. I play all my music out of that. But I mean, yeah, it's basically any Linux distribution is just a pre-configured or pre-flavored salad. Something base that they add what they want to it, and users can get on their websites and be like, yeah, I like what you did with this. I'll download it and go ahead and use that as it is. So yeah, basically all a Linux distribution is Linux pre-configured. It is a flavor of Linux. And you will honestly, when you start watching different videos, or maybe videos that I do, you're going to hear me or other people say, well, this flavor of Linux, Okay, and that's why I did the acronym of a salad. Now, if you want to learn more about different distributions, I will do a video on that later. But a great website for that is DistroLots. DistroLots has a bunch of information about pretty much all, well, not all, there's no telling how many distributions of Linux there are, but there are so many. But they keep information on all that. So if I wanted to go, and what is NixOS, I honestly do not know if I know about NixOS. Yeah, NixOS, you can figure that out here. What is Nix? What does it have? What comes on it? So yeah, this is a good website to check that stuff out. I'm going to put links to the three things about Linux history below, as well as at least some links for the different Linux, interfaces and things. I'm going to do some more in-depth videos later on all of this. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave me a comment, like and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, let me know. Do remember I have a speech impediment. I really wish I could be clear with some of this, and I'm going to get better with time. My objective with this channel is to create a place and eventually a forum where everyone can get on, ask questions. I'll get on here and answer them, make videos about them, and really just kind of help create a community that helps each other, okay? So I mean, text, people who are interested in this kind of thing, and maybe help people who haven't gotten into it get into it. I'm a young guy. I'm 18 years old. I started working with technology professionally when I was 12. I got a job with a pawn shop in Cookeville, Tennessee, my hometown. I don't live there anymore, but I did. I love all technology. So if you've got a question about Linux networking, programming, I'm not as much of a programmer as I am a network person or anything like that, but I do know a lot about it, and I'll do what I can to answer your questions. This is the fourth video in my series on Linux, and I appreciate you taking your time to view this video. Again, if you have any questions or anything that you think I should change or do better, if I spoke too fast or too awkwardly, let me know. I will be getting a new mic and webcam here soon, so you'll start to be able to see me, and I'll probably start doing some product reviews. Of course, there won't be that hiss that I'm sure is going to be in here. I'm using the built-in audio recorder on my on my laptop. So yes, thank you, and have a great day.